Okay, everyone, welcome. This is the... Whoa, I just had a huge dip in views. I think that the stream screwed up. Welcome, everyone. This is the recap and reactions video for Sony. Sorry, I'm talking so slowly because I was taking a look, and yes, the stream is working now. So yes, I will be recapping everything that happened during the Sony press conference right now and giving you my views on it. So here we go, everyone, without further ado. There it is. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sony. Alright, let's talk about Sony. This is the final press conference for Monday, June 15th, 2015 at E3. It was the latest one, but it certainly wasn't without its share of hype and big announcements, as well as, I'll be honest, some disappointments, okay? Alright, so, to start off the Sony conference, what could they possibly do? What could get the crowd hype? What could get everyone into it? Well, how about we announce a game that's been in production for years, been MIA from E3 for years, that everyone thought was canceled. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Sony press conference at E3 2015 opened up with The Last Guardian. And immediately people, oh shit, what the fuck? And people, piss exploding, geysers of piss and vomit. Blah, Last Guardian, blah, it exists. Yes, it exists. It just hasn't been talked about in quite a long time. And now that it is actually happening, pretty interesting, right? So first of all, they show gameplay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was watching. I didn't think the graphics were anything special. The graphics look pretty much the same as what they looked like years ago when they presented this game. They kind of look like high-level PS3 graphics. And the fact that they said, "Oh, it's coming out on PS4," I'm like, yeah, because that's the modern console, but it doesn't really look like you guys upgraded anything. You know what I mean? And so they show this, and they start showing gameplay. It's the kid, he's running around on this high-up platform. He calls in the monster, whatever it's called. The monster thing comes in, and it's cute as all hell. He has a dog, but it's got wings, but it's not a dog. It's kind of weird. And so the kid's running around trying to platform, and he has the dog jump across this wide gap for him. Then he runs and jumps off of a platform, and the dog catches him, like, with his mouth. He catches his little clothing, puts him down. Okay, great. Then he's talking to the dog for a little bit with sounds, blah, 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 blah. The dog jumps across the way to another platform. So the kid's on this long stretch that looks like it almost used to be like, almost like a minecart track, okay? And on it is some kind of a minecart tower thing. So, traditionally in these games, where there's platforming is like the main style of gameplay, you would say, well, I'm guessing that what's going to happen here is the kid's going to find a method to platform across, or he'll call the dog thing and it'll help him. What then happened to me pretty much surprised me and had me say, what the fuck? And I don't know if anyone else watching this had the same reaction as me, so bear with me. The kid is pushing the minecart. You think, oh, he's going to push the minecart, it's going to activate a switch, or someone's going to fall off. The minecart will fall over and create a bridge, right? And he'll be able to jump across this gap. No, the kid pushes the minecart off the tracks. It falls all the way down the ledge. A piece on the minecart latches to the end of the tracks, pulls it out, and now the whole thing's collapsing. And the kid's like, oh shit, I just killed myself. So the kid's out running the tracks as they're falling apart behind him. He jumps onto this ledge, this of little, like, stone blocks. The ledge is falling apart. So the kid's like, ah, God, oh my fucking God, what's going on? And he calls the monster thing, and the monster thing basically sticks its head out like jump. So the kid jumps, misses the monster, but then the monster's tail swings from underneath and he grabs the tail, so it's suspenseful. And he swings the kid back up, and there's another ledge that they climb onto, and again, there's like this column, and the kid has this vase. He's moving the vase around to get the column to roll, but it almost knocks himself off the platform, and then through some kind of like crazy, it's almost like the misadventures of The Last Guardian, where everything they're doing is inadvertent. It's like comedy where it's like the Calamity Jane, you know, everything you touch falls apart, and you have to somehow escape with your life, but somehow because of the crazy shit that happened, you ended up scaling this insanely high platform normally you wouldn't have been able to reach or something like that. It just looked really simple. Really silly to me. And I'm like, is that how the whole game's gonna be? Where it's all implausible stuff, silly stuff? I don't know. But from what they showed, that's what the trailer was. And then they announced that this game will be coming out in 2016 definitively. Yes, it is coming out in 2016. They didn't say early or late or whatever, but they did say that it's in 2016. So I have no idea what that was. At least the game, I guess, is coming out. It was funny because when I'm watching this, I'm sharing my experiences and everything with my stream chat, and I'm watching it saying it's nice to finally see this game out, right? It's nice that they finally finished it. It's going to be coming out in 2016, but it looks weird to me. Like, we never saw real gameplay of the game before. Now seeing the gameplay, that looks kind of bizarre. And everyone in the stream chat's like, this looks like shit. This is the game we've been waiting for. This is garbage. Because you know why? This game was one of the games they announced in early life of PS3. We're talking like the launch of PS3. This is what? Almost 10 years later. Of course, people don't really care about this game anymore. At least people who are into gaming now that weren't into gaming back then. People who've been waiting for this game for a long time. Yeah, they're hyped. But is that going to translate? How long we've waited for this freaking game? Is it ever going to be anything? And to see gameplay like that, and it's kind of like, it's weird. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm very much on the fence. I was like super hyped when they said it's coming, and then they showed the gameplay, and I was like, I'm not so excited, but we'll see what happens with it, okay? Okay. So then, the next thing they announced, this was kind of interesting, and I think this actually was one of the big surprises of the Sony press conference. A new game from Guerrilla Games. Now, Guerrilla Games is a game developer group that have been designing for, Sony for a while. And they say this is going to be a totally new IP, so get ready. And they say this is a future post-apocalyptic storyline where basically the modern humans of today are extinct. We somehow died out, and all our technology got grown over with plants or whatever, and now we're far in the future, and man is like coming back. Man is learning again how to use tools, how to hunt and do stuff, so it almost has like this prehistoric feel. But then they say, oh, by the way, the old ones are gone, but now we're living with the machines. You're like, what does that mean? And they start showing you the animals in the world are machines. They're like robots. So there's like a robot panther. There's giant robot dinosaurs walking through the land. So what it seems to me is like maybe man's downfall is that we made these machines that became autonomous and took over the world and evolved to the point where men were extinct, and now mankind is trying to come back, millions of years later or whatever, and fight back. And so it actually, to me, the best way I could describe this was third-person Turok. So think Turok Dinosaur Hunter. He's got a bow, right? A futuristic tech bow, but he also has other weapons and attachments and stuff that he uses. But you're fighting giant robot dinosaurs, so it's kind of like Shadow of the Colossus in that regard. You gotta look for a weak spot. You gotta use traps and lures to slow it down, to try to get under there, shoot it underneath at a weak spot, maybe get it to topple a little bit and shoot something on top, and then finally shoot it in a weak spot and it blows up. And the whole thing, overall, the whole thing lasted about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, the gameplay of it, and the gameplay looked smooth and good. I liked it. I actually was impressed by it. So this is a game that I'm actually looking forward to. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn. Interesting premise, interesting gameplay. I'd like to see more of that game, so that was a good one for me. That was a big thumbs up right there. A new IP that looked really solid. Then we saw only a trailer, no gameplay, but only a trailer. The trailer is for Hitman, the Hitman reboot. And they say this game is actually going to be a digital release exclusive, meaning it might get a physical release, but the game will be digital only first. And PlayStation 4 is going to get the beta earlier than any other platform. And that if you buy it on PlayStation 4, you will get 6 exclusive contracts to the PlayStation 4. So, no release date yet. No explanation as to how long the game is, what the gameplay will be. It was just called Hitman, so it's hard to tell if it is a reboot of the series or a continuation, but it is coming. From what I understand, there was more information about it. I don't know. I'm just going off of what was at the press conference. We'll see at Square Enix tomorrow if they give more information about the game. Then they announced, they announced Street Fighter V, which we already knew, right? The big announcements today were that Birdie, a character from Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3, as well as Cammy, were going to be in the game. Now, Cammy has been in almost every version of Street Fighter. She was in every version of Street Fighter 4. She was a fan favorite and one of the major competitive characters in Street Fighter 4. That's not a surprise to me. Birdie is a little bit of a surprise because actually, and a lot of people don't know this, he was actually the character that I liked in Street Fighter Alpha 2 and 3 the most. He was one of my favorite characters in that game. I did play him in Alpha 1 as well. but he wasn't a very good character. Like, if you talk in the tier listings, Birdie was never that good. He had some good capabilities, but he wasn't, like, great. He had limitations, lots of limitations that made him kind of a limited mid-tier character. So I'm interested to see what they'll do with him in Street Fighter V. They also announced that because, as you know, Street Fighter V will be a PlayStation 4 and PC exclusive. It's not coming out for Microsoft Xbox One at all. There will be a beta for the game launching on July 23rd if you pre-order the game. And that's all they said. Now, I don't know if that means pre-order the game at your local GameStop, pre-order on Amazon, if there's a special pre-order place. Some people are saying you have to pre-order through the Street Fighter website, which I don't even know what the fuck that is. What's the Street Fighter website? I don't know. So, apparently you can get to the beta. I want to get into the beta. Yeah, obviously, July will be almost a dead month for me. Fuck yeah, I want to play the beta on July 23rd. I'm hoping that I can get into it, but I don't know. I'll have to see if I can figure out how the fuck I'm supposed to pre-order this game to get into the beta. Okay? Alright, then they did a big presentation on No Man's Sky. This was a game that we saw first last year, and we weren't sure what it was. We just knew it was going to be some kind of a world generator. This year we found out a little bit more. It actually showed space combat. So you load into the game, immediately you're fighting in this space aerial, like almost Star Wars-like combat. And he's like, but it's not about that. It's actually, you can go off and, you can actually go off into different worlds and explore different worlds. And the game is more about world exploration and doing research in worlds and gathering intel. And it actually shows you landing on this alien world and you're shooting some stuff in the world and collecting like minerals. But then these big robots are alerted because you're there and they're coming after you. And there's like, these are the guardians of the world protecting them from you, from being here and collecting artifacts. So you have to kind of outrun them. And then he uploaded his data or whatever. And that was pretty much the presentation. So I hate to say it, but I hate to say it, the game, in my opinion, looks different than last year, and depending on your individual perspective, if it was better than worse than last year, I don't know. Last year it looked like a completely generative, open world generating game that could make variety of content, all these unique locales. This year it's like, well, you're space combat, and then you can fly to any planet, you can explore open world planets, so kind of like open world exploration, but it doesn't seriously look like the same game that it did last year. So ultimately, what will this game be when it releases? I have absolutely no idea. They also didn't give a release date for it. Okay. Alright, up next, we had Media Molecule, who has not really released anything significant since Tearaway on the PS Vita. And of course, they were the ones who made Little Big Planet 1 and 2. So what the hell have they been up to? Last time we saw them, they were fucking around with the PS Move and basically did nothing with it because the PS Move is now obsolete and no one's ever going to use it again, which is hilarious that they did 2 years ago. It was all about the PS Move, and now no one even knows what the fuck the PS Move is. They wasted their fucking time. So now they're dicking around with a game. It's called Dreams, and I say dicking around because this game studio doesn't seem to like want to make games that people will buy. Every year they have this weird-ass, like, esoteric presentation at E3. Here's what we did this year and made no money doing. And it's like, what the fuck is this? So this year, it's this game, if you can call it a game, called Dreams, where we're using motion, again, motion control. Media Molecule can't keep their fucking hands off the motion. They gotta dick around with motion. So we use the light on your PS4 controller along with the sensors of the PSI, and you could use this to draw on your screen, and you can then make puppeteering with this to make these interactive dreams. Here's an example of what we're talking about. And so, they show this thing. It's a guy who's like a deformed guy playing a piano, and then they warp to this scene with 2 polar bears, and then they warp to this scene with a teddy bear attacking fucking zombies with an axe. It's just fucking weird. And it's like, what the fuck? You watch every year, you watch their fucking presentation. What the fuck did I just see? And what the fuck kind of crack did these people smoke? Because I gotta get some. If I somehow am still in business after how many years of them not putting out anything that's gonna make money, they can just put bullshit at E3. Like, seriously, I remember those years ago. Boo, PS Move is the future. Here's what we did with it. And they never even released a fucking game with PS Move. Like, what the fuck is with Media Molecule? So this year it's called, snort fucking PCP and make a dream simulator, or whatever the fuck it is. That game's not gonna ever make it to sale, or if it doesn't, no one's gonna fucking buy that thing. Dear Media Molecule, I'll say this again. I said it years ago, I'll say it again. You innovated with Little Big Planet. You made a game where anyone can make their own creations, right? And everyone praised the shit out of you, said that you were the future of gaming. And guess what happened? Little Big Planet 1 and 2 came out. You didn't change the face of gaming. You didn't do anything. You created a cutesy little game for the masses that people seemed to like, and everyone ran and made level creators, and that was it. But it's not fucking, like, world changing. Though gaming is still here, and it's still kind of the same as it was before you ever were here. Just because you fuck around with the PS Move, and I'll make dreams with my fucking thing. How am I gonna make a game? How do you make a game that we can buy and play and enjoy instead of fucking dicking around? Like, who gave you unlimited funds to just sit there and do nothing all day and not actually put out a product people want to fucking play? Why did another company make a piece of shit Little Big Planet 3 instead of you? I would have loved if Medium Molecule made Little Big Planet 3. But no, we gotta fucking make dreams, man. Dreams. Because we're hipster and we're cool. Fuck this stupid company. I can't take them anymore. Seriously, like, they drive me off the wall. Where is the fucking desire to make something that people would like to play? You know, games, you're a game company, you fucking idiots. Alright, anyway, I digress. Let's talk. I need a sip of water. Okay. The next game was called Firewatch. It was weird. It was first person, and it almost looked, to me, like it was almost like the art design of, say, Team Fortress 2, but it certainly is not that kind of game. You're supposedly some kind of like a ranger or someone up in like a forest or national park in the hills, and you're supposed to be looking for fires breaking out in the forest, okay? And you're talking to this woman on a two-way like radio. It's the only communication you have with the outside world. You're out there isolated in the forest by yourself. And the story is that two girls disappeared in the forest and no one knows what happened to them. You were the last person to see them. So now you're searching for clues, trying to figure out what happened to these girls, okay? Then all of a sudden, you're like hiking or whatever, and the woman on the thing says, "Wait a minute, I just heard you grunt. What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm climbing I'm climbing the side of the mountain," or whatever. "You mean you're not in your lookout?" "No, I'm not." "Then who is?" You look up and you can see your lookout in the past, the lights on, and there's people in there. So it's kind of like supposed to be some kind of how can I say it? Suspense thriller style game with a mystery aspect. You'll be solving like the mystery over time, traversing through these woods or whatever. Seems pretty interesting, and I'm interested to try that out. Up next, Destiny. LOL. I even wrote LOL on my piece of paper because they talk about this game like it's the best game ever made. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious, because the guy says, "Well, it was the biggest launching new IP ever." Okay, fair enough, because you fucking over-promoted the game and lied about it, and everyone bought it and said this game is not what was promised, and most people who bought the game were disappointed, which is why critics panned it, okay? It's true. Look at the ratings for the game. No one gave it 9s and 10s, alright? The game's not very good. And then people will argue, "Oh, but there's people who bought Destiny and they kept playing it." Yeah, but 20 million people played it. What, 1 to 2 million people are still playing it? That's not very good retention, okay? So now, Destiny. Oh, there's a new DLC for Destiny. It's coming out on September 15th, and it's called No One Cares, because that's actually what I wrote down here. It's actually called No One Cares, because unless you're some kind of a fucking crazy-ass fanboy who will not accept the fact that you wasted $60 buying an overhyped piece of shit last year, you're not playing Destiny anymore, and you're not going to buy the expansion. So there's your information on Destiny. Okay. Assassin's Creed Syndicate actually showed us a new character named Evie, which I didn't know. There's a female character you could play in this game called Evie, who I guess is the twin sister of the male protagonist. And I was kind of like, yeah, I could see what I'm seeing this year. There's a pattern. Every game now has to have a female lead or a male and female lead. So Fallout, you could be a male or female, you know what I mean? All these games now are having this, and that's cool. I'm all for equality. I just hope that these characters add to the story and have a significant thing, and not, oh, we just threw in a female character because feminists were complaining there's not enough females in games, and the female character's all fluff and bullshit. I hope that they actually have something to contribute to the story. So, yes, they're saying that Assassin's Creed Syndicate will have exclusive PlayStation 4 DLC. Okay, great. So, big deal. Then, Square Enix. Wow, Square Enix is going to come out with a new game. They're like, a new game from Square Enix. Get your pants on, motherfucker. And they're like, yeah, this is going to be good. Could be a new Final Fantasy. Could it be the Kingdom Hearts 3 that we've been waiting? And it shows these little chibi characters walking on the screen. Everyone's like, chibis? What is this? Little tiny chibi. And then all of a sudden they grow to normal size. Now they look like Kingdom Hearts characters. Now, a new epic RPG where you can be small or big. You can capture monsters from the Final Fantasy franchise. You can control characters from the franchise like they show Cloud, little Chibi Cloud, and Chibi Kane, the Dragon Knight from Final Fantasy IV. You can do it. It's time for Worlds of Final Fantasy! And I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's kind of weird. It seems like it's going to have characters and monsters from all different Final Fantasy games. They announced it's going to be on PS4 and on the PS Vita, and it will be coming out in 2016. Okay. But that was the tease. That was actually the tease. They said, now it's time for the real shit, motherfucker. And the lights fade to black, and everyone in the auditorium was like, oh shit, what is this? Either we're all gonna get fucking robbed in a second or some major shit's going down. So the lights dim and they start playing this trailer on the television or the whatever the fuck you want to call it, the projection screen. And it shows like a city, an old worn out city, but everyone's very adult. It's very high, high resolution, really well done character models, like a pre-rendered thing. People walking through the streets. There was a war, and the war ended, and we were threatened, but then we were saved, and then people demanded that they return, and now they return. At the time they return. I don't know what the hell the announcer was talking about, but then they show it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they're walking through these streets. They pan down. It's a city. It looks like a very familiar city from a certain game that we've all been talking about for years. We wonder if they would ever do this, and then they show the iconic characters walking through the streets in fully rendered high-resolution character models instead of the weird-looking deformed shit that they actually used in the game when it was released back in 1997. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Final Fantasy VII Remake! Although, quite honestly, I really don't care that much. I've said multiple times, I've never really talked about it because I never played many of the classic Final Fantasies. I actually thought Final Fantasy VII was one of the most overhyped games, like, ever. When I played it, I was actually disappointed. I liked Final Fantasy IV and VI way better than 7. But I can understand if that was, like, the first Final Fantasy game you ever played, alright? And, like, this was your introduction to RPGs. This was the first one that was on PlayStation, so with 3D models and stuff. And you've been wanting a remake of the game forever. Yeah, it exists and they're making it. Now, there was no information about a release, no information about anything. But what they were saying, it will be a timed exclusive and will be on PlayStation 4 first before any other console. So I guarantee you it will be on everything else. Alright, it will be on everything else. Excuse me. But it sounds like Sony's getting the heads up and Sony will get the game first. So that was a huge explosion, cocks erect. You were trying to see the screen, you couldn't see because people's cocks were so erect that they were like big redwoods blocking the screen. You're trying to see by them as this is happening. And people have been waiting for this for so long. Pretty awesome that they finally listened after years and years and years of people asking for it. Yes, they're remaking, and it's not, that's the other thing. It's not a remaster where we're just taking the same game and we're going to put it with fancy, slightly increased visuals. No, they're actually redoing the game from the ground up. It's a remake. That will be interesting to see, especially all of these sexual scenes in the game, like when Cloud's in a bathhouse with a bunch of naked, burly super twinks, or when he cross-dresses. And no, if you never played Final Fantasy VII, I'm not kidding, that actually is present in the game, and I guess we're all going to get to see it. Redone in HD, baby, yes. I can't wait to see those super twink dicks. Alright. So, we're almost at the end of the Sony press conference. Up next, they teased 4 new Devolver Digital games, including Ronin, EITR, Mother Russia Bleeds, and Crossing Souls. Most of them look to me like almost action RPG beat-em-up hybrids. They all kind of looked like the same kind of game with different twists on them. Okay. Then, now this was another one. Oh, God. So you saw the Devolver thing. Everyone's cocks are still kind of semi-hard. They're not fully hard from the Final Fantasy announcement anymore. It's been like 5 minutes. So everyone's got like a semi-hard. And then they come out and they say, we're going to now announce a game that fans have asked for forever and kind of been ignored. Here it is. And boom, Shenmue 3, ho, ho, ho. So immediately, boom, boom, and it crashes through the ceiling. And now the ceiling tiles are falling down as people's cocks and nipples, hard nipples, have poked the ceiling. And just everything's exploding inside of this theater with the hype that's going on inside this theater at this point, okay? Shenmue 3. Now, the thing that got me about this, All right. First of all, I never played Shenmue 1 and 2, but I've heard tons and tons of positive things about the game. I've heard that it's really good. It's a very good story-based game. Lots of action, lots of RPG things. And that you basically need to experience them to get kind of... If you want to experience some of the best video games of all time, Shenmue is part of that series, okay? I never played it. But the thing that I don't understand, they announce, oh, here's the creator of Shenmue, and by the way, he's launching a Kickstarter campaign right now to fund the new game. And let's help him launch it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here's the website. Go to his Kickstarter and start funding the game. Now, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. This is E3. This is supposed to be a conference of game developers and producers who are making games. Not you come to E3 to ask for money to make your game. And the thing that gets me, this is the Sony press conference, so obviously Sony must support Shenmue, must like Shenmue, even though it was Sega back in the day on the Dreamcast who was supporting Shenmue and who produced Shenmue. Obviously, Sony likes it. Why isn't Sony fucking backing Shenmue? Now, I actually have the answer to that coming up very shortly, so you'll know why in a minute, but I'm like, why is it a fucking Kickstarter at E3? It just doesn't make any sense. I've never heard of anything like this in my life. Go to E3 to advertise your Kickstarter instead of the game you've already made. Like, it blew my mind. So, it makes no sense. I mean, but at the same time, it doesn't matter, because if you go to their Kickstarter right now, they've raised almost over $1 million, and it's still rising. It's only been an hour since the press conference ended, not even, and they've raised $1 million and going, because people will throw their money in anything, right? Just fucking throw money. Throw it. Not that we need that money to live or nothing. Throw the fucking money, and that game will be massively funded and will definitely happen. It's a good thing, but again, why couldn't, if there's that much demand for a game, why can't fucking Sony finance it? If you're gonna, especially if you're gonna have them at your fucking press conference, you can't finance the game. I don't understand. But we're gonna talk about in a moment why I think Sony can't finance Shenmue, okay? Alright. So, up next, Batman. And they say it's Batman Arkham Knight. They start off with a trailer of the Joker's body, which, remember, the Joker died at the end of Batman Arkham City. He's getting cremated, so the Joker's fucking dead. There's no way he's coming back in this game. Then they say it's going to be Batman's death, the story of Batman's death. Could be pretty good, especially if it ends the trilogy of games, right? It's weird because the entire trailer is first person. You're a cop named Owens who walks into a cafe, and you're asking questions. And one guy says, there's a weird guy in the corner over there. You should check him out. So he walks over to this guy sitting at a table, and he has a bag. And he says, sir, what is that? And the bag has smoke coming out of it. He goes, sir, you got smoke coming out of your bag. You can't do that in here. And he opens up the bag. It's the scarecrow. It's fear gas, right? So he knocks the cop down. The cop gets up. All of a sudden, he's surrounded by zombies. He's shooting the zombies. It does nothing. And it cuts away and says, the PlayStation 4 exclusive Scarecrow missions, only available on the PS4 version of Batman Arkham Knight. Now, we didn't know about that, so that'll be cool. We'll get some first-person gameplay of Batman Arkham Knight. It doesn't seem like it has anything really to do with the main gameplay or the core game of Arkham Knight, but cool that we're getting some exclusive DLC for it if we got it on PS4, and I am getting it on PS4, so thumbs up for that. Okay. Project Morpheus, yes. Just like Microsoft, Sony had to show off their virtual reality shit, and I still say it's a piece of shit, and it's a waste of time. And it's funny, because the games, they start showing games for it, right? And it's called, one of them was like a first-person shooter action game, and it's like, to me, here's what I'm thinking. When I see the stuff they're showing for Project Morpheus, like, I went to Universal Studios 3 years ago in Florida, and they have these rides where you sit in the ride. It's a motion ride, right? And it's 3D in front of you, so you see this 3D presentation. It's a motion ride. You look around, you're surrounded by the screen. You're sitting there for 5 minutes. Wow, that was cool. You maybe go on a second time because you're on vacation, and then you're done with it, right? That's what I equate all this VR shit to. You'll want to sit down and play it for a few minutes at a tear, maybe a half hour at a tear, and that's nice, and it's a nice departure from normal gameplay. I seriously cannot see anyone wanting to do VR at length. Who the fuck is going to want to sit there with this giant fucking headset on their head, looking like an asshole, probably feeling like an asshole because your neck's killing you, because you got a giant fucking goggles on, right? You can't hear nothing, you can't fucking see nothing. I want to play a game. Oh, there's a guy over here. Now you're flailing through your house like an asshole. Oh, there's a guy over here. Oh, you probably need a giant open fucking space to play the stupid thing. It's the whole idea is just stupid. To me, if I want to do something like that, I'm going to go on vacation. I'll go on a motion ride. You know what I mean? I'll get that experience. That's not something I want to experience every day when I sit down to game in my living room. Now, I'm just saying, there may be people out there, we absolutely need the cutting edge of technology. I am not that person. I see it as another gimmick that after a short period of time on the market, just like the motion controls, just like the camera shit with Kinect, it's all gonna fucking fail and go away after all these years, right, of development that we've heard, all the hype about Oculus Rift and all that shit. That shit is gonna fucking fail. Harder than a Don Matrick fucking, Microsoft sales pitch. These VR things are gonna flop. And I just don't understand how no one in mainstream gaming media is critical of it. They're all hyped for it. Oculus and Morpheus and fucking virtual reality hologram Minecraft. Does anyone step up and say who the fuck wants or needs this? No, they all gotta get hyped, right? Because they need a story to write about to get views. So let's hype. Stupid shit. Stupid. Okay. Then they went on to talk about the PS View, which apparently is something to do with an exclusive partnership with getting television networks on your PlayStation 4. And I'm sure there's people who use it for that, but the primary use of the PS4 is for games. At E3 we're talking about games, so fuck the PS View. I don't give a shit about it. Next, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Okay, we were wondering what was going on because there was no Call of Duty presentation during the Microsoft campaign or press conference earlier today, and we're like, what happened? Like, Microsoft always has Call of Duty. This is very confusing. All right, so stay in that line of reasoning with me. So then they show a co-op campaign. Yes, Black Ops 3 will have a full co-op campaign with 4 players. They show some gameplay. It looks really weird. It certainly does not look like traditional Black Ops. It actually looks more like Halo than Black Ops at this point. All this futuristic robot shit going on. You're sending out drones. There's EMPs. People are vomiting and pissing. Yeah, that actually happened. There was pissing and vomiting. And then there was all this shit going on. I couldn't even understand what was going on. One interesting thing, the game looked like it was only running at 30 frames per second, but it might have actually been the Sony press conference stream because earlier in the day, there was also game footage of other games that was running at 60 frames that during the Sony press conference only showed at 30. So it might be 60 like it always has been, and it might have been just bullshit. The stream was fucked up. But then they show multiplayer. And, multiplayer will also be fun. Here's some gameplay of it. And they show it. And you're like, it's going to be Call of Duty. There's I wrote down some notes. There's wall running now, and there's sliding. So it's like they took the stuff from fucking Titanfall, and they combined it with Call of Duty. So you have Titan Duty. Titan Duty Call of the Fall, or whatever you want to call it. That's what it looks like, okay? But now, ladies and gents, here is the thing. The big bombshell announcement that people, what? When they heard this, right? If you had just eaten dinner, and it was in process in your stomach, and then you were watching the Sony press conference, what? Because here's what happened. They actually announced that the PlayStation 4, for the first time ever, is getting all map packs first. It's the complete flip side of what's happened every year before this, where the Microsoft console, whether it be Xbox 360 or Xbox One, they got it first. No, Sony got the exclusive this year, which is why Call of Duty wasn't at the Microsoft press conference, and also probably why Sony can't fucking afford to fund Shenmue, because they dropped all their money to get these stupid fucking map packs first. Now, at the very least, this is Black Ops 3. This is from Treyarch. Treyarch traditionally has been the studio that puts out the best game of the 3 studios that make Call of Duty. The zombies are always exceptional. I'm excited because I'm going to be playing this game. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do this. Let me do this. That's not it. There we go. I'm excited because I'm going to be playing this game probably with friends, co-op. We've played Call of Duty games before, the zombie mode before. I'm really excited to dive into that with my friends and try that online. And that's good that now, if I want to check out the map packs, Sony gets the drop and Sony paid for the timed exclusive. But I'll be honest with everyone. I hate timed exclusives. I'll say it again. I hate them. I hate them. I fucking hate them. Everyone should get to play the game on the same fucking day, at the same fucking time. You shouldn't have one group of gamers that are special and one that aren't. One that's the redheaded stepchild and one that's the golden boys and girls. Everyone should get this game at the same fucking time, worldwide. There should be a worldwide release date for every fucking game ever, period. No reason for this exclusivity bullshit and money changing hands and this corporate filth that fucking affects everything. This is dirty. And it actually pissed me off because I was like, I kind of like have backed Sony in this console generation, and now they're doing the same shit Microsoft has done all along. They're becoming Microsoft. I don't want to see that. Everyone should get everything same fucking day. Fuck you, Sony, for selling out. How about that? Okay. Until Dawn had the shortest running trailer thing ever, lasted like 5 seconds and explained nothing about the game. Oh, Star Wars is coming to Disney Infinity, everyone. Disney Infinity 3.0, because, you know, Disney didn't buy enough when they bought fucking, Marvel, and they put Marvel in Disney Infinity. Now we gotta get Star Wars in there, too, just like we knew. So now you're gonna have fucking, Mickey Mouse is fucking ball-punching, Thanos in the fucking family nads, while fucking, Luke Skywalker comes up behind him and fucking gives him a hand up the ass or something. I don't know. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. Disney Infinity, first of all, I'm glad, I will say this officially now, I am so glad I didn't buy into the fad, because I was gonna try Disney Infinity when it came out. From all reports, the game is shit. The game is like the most basic platforming action thing. The only gimmick that makes Disney Infinity anything interesting is because you have all these characters from all these different worlds that are interacting in it, which could be a cool what-if scenario. But for the most part, it's a money grab for kids. Make kids want your figurines so you'll keep buying more, and it's ridiculous. So now Star Wars is the latest to be fucking bastardized in this series. It was a total non-announcement. They said, oh, there will be a Star Wars pack coming to PS4 exclusively first. Boba Fett will be only available in that pack as a timed exclusive, and then later on he'll be available for every other console. I don't give a flying fuck about that. And then they did Star Wars Battlefront, and this was different gameplay than what they showed earlier today during the EA press conference. And this one they actually showed some interesting gameplay and more of like a desert planet locale, and it was more about hand-on combat gameplay, like first-person shooter gameplay. But by far the most notable thing about this presentation of Star Wars Battlefront is the announcer. He comes out, he obviously can't speak English, and I have to say this, and I'm going to say this, and people will give me shit for it. If you're going to present at E3, you must learn the English language fluently. And this is like the number one tip that anyone who's going to be at E3 should learn. Because most people who present at E3 can't speak English. They're either speaking, a very heavy Japanese accent if they're a Japanese game dev. If it's anyone from Ubisoft, it's French, heavy French accent. Some people today were speaking fucking, I don't know, Swahili or some shit. I don't even know what Klingon. I couldn't understand what the fuck they were saying. This guy comes out and he literally says, Luke Skywaters, all right? I'm not making it up. Luke Skywaters. Like, that's not even close. That's not even close. Luke Skywaters in the battle. Oh, the hibba-habba-doo. What? Like, no, tell me, can we get a translator? Can someone fucking sign language or something? Skywaters? And it trended. It was a trend on Twitter for about 10 minutes, Skywaters. Because who the fuck is Skywaters? It's like, come on, man. So anyway, they run it, and it looks pretty good. If anything, people are kind of saying this game looks pretty good. I'm still kind of skeptical, because we heard the game might have very limited content at launch. I'm worried about that. We'll have to see. We're getting closer. That's going to come out on November 17th. We'll see. But I'm excited for it, because I did like the original games. At the same time, I hope it has more content than all the rumors that it's going to be very limited at launch. All right? And then, to close the Sony press conference, they save a big one for last, and they fade to black, and it says only on PlayStation. And we sit there, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and then finally it starts. So here it is, it's some kind of a statue, and then, of course, Sully from Uncharted walks up. All right, we know what this is. It's Uncharted 4. Sully and Nathan Drake walk up to a doorway. They throw a wooden plank off the door. They go through the door. They end up in some outdoor, bazaar area, okay, in some foreign country. We don't know where. And Nathan Drake walks up and stands here like this. It's from the back, so it's a third-person perspective. He's standing like this. He's looking at the crowd. And he proceeds to stand there and stand there and stand there and stand there for about a minute, not moving. And then they restarted it. So they restart the demo again. Okay, this time it works. So they go through the whole intro again, because apparently it's unskippable. They go through the whole intro. So Nathan Drake's, he's going through the marketplace. Uh-oh, the authority, the cops, whoever are on to us. So Nathan, in his most, cliche manner, pulls out weapons. He starts shooting the cops, or whoever these people are. Maybe they're paramilitary, and they're not supposed to, they're evil people. It's okay to kill them. He kills a cool dozen people while doing his usual side cracks. Like, piece of cake. I just fucking shot that guy's medulla oblongata out of his fucking head. No problems. Massive, mass murder. It's all cool because I'm Nathan Drake and I'm a treasure hunter. So then they go and they're getting chased and they jump inside of a car. There's a big driving sequence down this mountain, down this mountainside that has like all the city here. So they're driving through the city, right? They're going in and out of side streets. They're being chased by these cars that are shooting guns. They're going through marketplaces. They're destroying people's stands and everything. Of course, they never hit anyone with the car, even though they already slaughtered 42 people earlier. They're going around with the car, and people are like, oh my god, it's open world. Uncharted 4 is open world. No. It's a scripted event. The difference here is that games have gotten so good at these scripted events, they give you the appearance that you have the choice to do anything. I guarantee you, if you missed one of the side street turns, if you didn't jump off the right thing, checkpoint, go backwards in time to a checkpoint and replay repeatedly until you finally make the right turns. So finally, after all of this, you could tell there's very, very high production value in it, right? You could tell this is an Uncharted game. This is the flagship series for Sony. This probably had, tons and tons of effort and stuff put into it, and that's why it is what it is, and that's why it looks so sweet. Uncharted 4 coming in 2016. We don't know when. There was no actual release date given, but we're interested to know when the game will come out. And that was the end of the Sony press conference. So you can see, you know what I mean? There were some high highs in there, right? And there was some what the fucks in there. And there was some weird shit. And it was just like a weird combination. It's hard. I mean, at this point, I told you guys this Thursday, on my podcast this Thursday, I am going to do a best and worst of E3. It's going to be weird for me to go through these notes and try to figure out what's good and bad. Because at this point, there's been a lot of good, great, really good stuff and weird fucking stuff and just negative stuff. And I'm going to have to really think about it to decide this Thursday what I want to talk about on the podcast. So that is it for the Sony recap and reactions to their press conference. I hope that you enjoyed it. Keep in mind, I will continue to cover E3 tomorrow when we've got Nintendo. And we've also got Square Enix. And I'll be talking PC stuff. So more coverage of E3 coming. But if you haven't yet, I've already recorded Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, and Bethesda. Watch those as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow for more gameplay and for more E3 coverage. Peace out.